And the old man in Stamford, Connecticut did it yet again. He just couldn't help himself. He had to do it yet again. What am I talking about? You know what I'm talking about, but we're going to discuss in this review for sure. But I want to start right from the jump at the top. This was SmackDown January 31st, 2020 from Tulsa, Oklahoma. It is the post-Royal Rumble edition. Whether we like it or not, whether we feel like it or not, we are on the road to WrestleMania. All of us. Ain't nobody getting off at any stop beforehand. You're not abandoning us now. We're all on this road together, so buckle up, Buttercup. This was Super SmackDown. You know Vince McMahon in his ego, he cannot be outdone by the Super Bowl. So he's gonna make Super SmackDown. How can we make it super? Shorty G and Sheamus. Let's give him the main event from last week. Roman and Baron. So that's what we got. We got a Super SmackDown. I don't know what felt super about it, though, on paper. I mean, again, they advertised Shorty G and Sheamus in a rematch. But why? That was a kickoff show at the Royal Rumble, and we saw a fair and square winner. Why would we even need a... And then your main event is a six-man tag that we just literally saw. Wasn't it just last week? I believe that was the main event. With Corbin, Ziggler, and Rude versus Usos. And I have no idea. Maybe that was 2 weeks ago. It was just recent. I believe it was last week, though. So Super SmackDown is just Super Rematch Mania. But anyway, we'll let Vince have his ego and go play in his pudding. Whatever. He has his Super SmackDown from Tulsa, Oklahoma. We kick off with Pyromania. I will say that. It did feel like there was even more pyro than usual. And then Roman Reigns starts the show. So he does his little whatever he does, and we get even more pyro. And I'm like, all right, as somebody that likes pyro, I'm like, all right, let's who else has pyro? Bring out all of Vince's Blonde Brigade, right? I know Alexa has pyro, Charlotte has pyro, somebody told me Carmella even has pyro. Bring out every blonde that Vince has so we can get even more pyro. This would be like the 4th of July at this point. But Reigns kicks it off. The Usos ended up joining him, and then obviously Corbin, Ziggler, and Rude at the top of the ramp. So everybody is in the fray at this point. We have a lot of back and forth on the mic. And to switch it up a little from the main event we just saw last week, Reigns issues a stipulation. How about this week to make it different? How about the loser eats dog food? Wow. Tulsa, Oklahoma was just riveted by this revelation. Fans at home, we were on the edge of our seat. What? Dog food is going to be eaten? It was just one of the best things we've ever seen in professional wrestling. One of the biggest anticipations that we've had in a long time. Maybe not. Maybe there's a hint of sarcasm there. And that's the big setup for the main event. So WWE's way to keep you captivated for 2 full hours is to let you know that you're going to get a rematch 6-man tag. But the difference is the loser is going to eat some dog food. Well, if that isn't the best 2 hours of your life coming up, then I don't know what to tell you, because when that stipulation was announced, I'm sure we were all calling our family, friends, and even long-distance acquaintances. Chuck, what do you mean you don't remember me? High school. 57. You don't Yes. Yeah, I used to put swirlies. Yeah, well listen, somebody's about to eat dog food. Yeah. Yes, Fox, you better tune in now. Oh man, I tell you. But I digress. We'll see what they actually have later, man. You know, I mean, maybe something cool is planned, right? We're about to talk about it and see if maybe, you know, we were having fun with this at the beginning. Like, seriously, Vince? But maybe something cool is planned, right? Monday Night Raw ended really cool, really badass. We were all talking about it. Rocked the wrestling world with Orton and Edge. Maybe we'll get something really cool. I mean, we all pretty much know the answer to that when that's announced. This is going to be one of those gimmicky, just straight out flat, dumb endings. But maybe they have something good planned. We'll talk about it. First match of the night was a number 1 contenders fatal 4-way for the SmackDown tag straps. Heavy Machinery took on the Revival, taking on Summer College Lucha House Party versus Miz and Morrison. For a schmaz, this was actually entertaining, guys. And what we saw anyway was a consistent trend as of late, which was true yet again last night, and that is the fact that Otis stole the show. Otis is just hilarious. He's got some skill in that ring, clearly a presence. He's stealing the show time and time again. However, stealing the show and winning the match, those are two different things. A Starship Pain to Dawson collects the W for Miz and Morrison. So this sets up a pretty good tag match, I feel. At least it's a tag match that I don't feel I've seen a million times. Even though I may have. Who knows, right? But Morrison just came back, so at least it feels a little bit fresh. And anytime I get to see Morrison in there with Kofi, they usually put on a damn good show. Big E, you guys know how high I am on Big E. You put Miz in title matches, he usually delivers. I'm okay with this tag match. I don't usually say that because, again, usually it's a rematch 714 times. But I'm okay with this setup. Revival seems more unhappy than ever before. We're starting to hear reports that they once again asked for their releases. They just need to part ways. It's just not working, right? Vince and the Revival just need to go their separate ways because this is just going to turn even more toxic over time. That's my 2 cents on it. Post-match, it was really funny. Otis asks Mandy Rose out backstage, what are you doing next Friday night? And he won't even look at her. I love how Otis is just hilarious. He's great in this character, in this role. It's just who he is. And he won't even look at Mandy. And Tucker basically has to ask her out for him. Or I think Tucker, forces Otis to do it. But Otis can't even really look at her in the eyes. What are you doing next Friday night? You want to go out with me or whatever? And Mandy's like, oh, I'm busy next Friday. And Otis looks crushed. And then Mandy goes, but I'm free next Friday. And Otis is in like he just saw the Big Bang Theory, the theory of Big Bang. Like the world, the universe is just coming into its own. And Otis is looking out like, whoa. I love that, man. And Tucker goes, that's Valentine's Day or something. I didn't even think of that. That was brilliant. WWE did something that I didn't even think. It was brilliant. I'm going to give them credit on that. She said next Friday, and I'm like, why would they wait 2 Fridays? But okay, whatever. Maybe they have something different planned for Mandy or Otis next Friday. But no, they set it up perfectly for Valentine's Day. I like that. See, BC, wow, that really amused you? Yeah, sometimes something so simplistic, as long as you put some thought into it, I'll give you credit for it. People think I just want to be negative just for the sake of being negative. No, I want to give praise. I want to give compliments. Give me a reason to. Even something simplistic like that, I'll give you credit. You put some thought into that. That's actually interesting going forward. Their Valentine's Day date. I'm looking forward to it. Up next, number one. This ended hour number 1, by the way. Number 1 contenders for the women's tag team straps now. This was for Asuka and Kairi's titles in the future. Alexa and Nikki versus Mandy and Sonya. I'm hard pressed to say that this was a good match, and I'm not going to, but at least I'm not going to call it a bad match. To be honest, it was only a few minutes long, so it couldn't have been either good or bad. It was Alexa and Nikki versus Sonya and Mandy. What more do you need me to tell you, right? Just picture it if you didn't watch it. Did you picture it? Exactly. It probably went as well as you pictured it. And as fast as you pictured it. When it was all said and done, Alexa pins Mandy, and we get a nonsensical tag match going forward now for the titles. Asuka and Kairi versus Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. I just don't understand why Alexa Bliss has to be in every single title. It's like a Charlotte Flair situation. And Alexa Bliss is always finding herself in title matches. If it ain't the SmackDown Women's Championship, it's the Raw Women's Championship. If it ain't the Raw Women's Championship, it's Tag Team Championships now. If they come up with a mid-card championship, Alexa Bliss will hold that 2 or 3 times. Or at least always be in the picture. It's amazing to me. Because you guys know I like Alexa, and I take a lot of heat for that because I'm a big Sasha mark. So to be a big Sasha fan and still like Alexa, I take a lot of heat for that. But I do like Alexa. I just don't understand why she always has to be in title pictures. Very odd, especially someone who isn't necessarily the talent level of a lot of the superstars on that roster, the Embers and even Naomi's. But aside from just talent, you also have the fact that she was injured so many times and she had to take so much time off. And then she comes back and she's still right into a prominent role. She's always on TV. She's always thrust in the championship matches. I just question that. And on top of that, when you think of Asuka and Kairi getting a big, having a big championship title defense, I'm pretty sure Akexa Bliss doesn't come to mind. But whatever, man. I don't know. I have a lot of questions for the company. I just see a lot of talent on the roster that I would be utilizing in a much better way. But sometimes it just seems like the same people, Intercontinental Championship match starts hour number 2. Champ Shinsuke Nakamura taking on challenger Braun Strowman. This was supposed to take place at the Rumble. I think they felt there was too many matches. They wanted to get the strap over to Braun eventually anyway, so they ended up holding off. If you're going to do that, then even Saudi Arabia I would have been okay with. But not the middle of SmackDown. Before the match, Michael Cole repeatedly told us, 3 times to be exact, that Nakamura has held the title for 199 days. He specifically said that 3 times. 199 days. Usually they do this when the title is about to be dropped by the champ. That's when they usually tell you how many days, because they want to make it more special when he drops it. So when he drops the title, he or she, we all at home are like, whoa, 199 days and it's over. So he did it 3 times. That's when I knew Braun Strowman was collecting that championship. And the IC title changing hands in the middle of SmackDown, unacceptable. It just is. Too many times we see championships dropped in the middle of a show. And I always get some people that go, well, BC, it's okay. It makes people want to tune in to the weekly shows. But that's what pay-per-views are for. The weekly shows are supposed to captivate us and get us to the pay-per-views. Then you get the big matches, and that's when the epic moments occur. Once in a blue moon, I'm okay with that. Once in a blue moon, just like a house show, on a television show, you can absolutely change a title. What we're starting to see is the title is changing hands. All these championships, tag team championships, United States, Intercontinental, you name it. They're all changing hands in the middle of regular TV shows. Again, once in a while, I'm okay with. I agree with you. Gets people interested, gets people knowing that at any moment, titles can change. But all the time is what we're seeing. I promise you guys, do your research just in the last year, 2019. Watch how many titles changed hands on the television show. It was more than the pay-per-views. That's unacceptable. That's what I mean. And Shinsuke Nakamura, after 199 days, he doesn't deserve more than just a 2 to 3 minute match. He doesn't deserve that because this ended up being worse than we even thought. Because it was just a few minutes. And it was just a power slam. Right? Sami Zayn exposed the post, but it was Nakamura that ended up hitting it. And it was just a power slam after that. And Braun Strowman hoists up the championship as new IC champion. It wasn't even like we could say this was 15 minutes and Nakamura put up an amazing battle and, he didn't look like a loser in defeat. No, he did. This was a couple minutes long. And he got power slammed. I don't even care about what happened with his dome piece hitting the post. Is that supposed to make it better? He doesn't deserve more than 190 days of being the champion, and he didn't even feel like it. There was half the time, I told you guys in several videos, half the time it felt like I forgot about the Intercontinental Championship. Shinsuke was irrelevant. So irrelevant that he wasn't even able to defend the championship at Royal Rumble. You couldn't give this guy the respect to give him a match at Royal Rumble. At least let him lose it there, and at least make the match 10 minutes. Can Braun even put on a damn good 10-minute match anymore? Who knows? And that's another problem I have. Is Braun going to be something now, or are they just going to yin us and yang us? Are they going to bring him up a couple of steps and then take him back 20 steps? They're going to give him an inch and then take him back a mile? Because that's what they've done with Braun so many times. They start to push him, and then they bring him back double time. So what is all this leading to? You say, BC, let's just wait and see. Relax, man. I will. I'll do it again. I'll play this game yet again. But the game always ends with the same result. Doesn't lead to anything. And I don't know what any of these 199 days for Shinsuke, because you didn't make him feel like a champion. Vince did it again. Yet again. He could not resist. He couldn't help himself. He had to drop the title just a couple minutes. Reminds me of Kofi Kingston and Brock Lesnar again. The only difference is Braun is not Brock Lesnar. Same situation. You have a champion who's been champion for all these months, and then just a couple minutes, boom. Kofi, I think it was like, 8 or 9 seconds? New champion. We'll see. I don't know where Nakamura goes from there. What is funny, at least, is after a commercial break, Sami Zayn is flipping out backstage. When we hear a guitar strumming, we cut to Elias about to perform in the ring. Sami is still going nuts. There's a funny back and forth between Sami backstage and Elias in the ring. They're going back and forth. Finally, Sami instructs Cesaro to take care of the situation, which Cesaro does. Cesaro? That's Cesaro's brother, Cesaro. Cesaro goes to the ring and tries to take care of this for Sami, but the attempt was a fail because Elias takes care of Cesaro just as fast as he came. I don't know what that says about Cesaro, but I'm at least happy that Elias was booked strong here. But just like Strowman, we've seen this before, and then Vince takes him back. So does this lead to something? Or is this just Vince not knowing what to do? We'll make Elias look strong this week. Next week, he'll lose to Cesaro. We'll 50-50 book him. Or are we really going to make people like Strowman, people like Elias, are we really going to book them as strong, legitimate badasses? Real superstars? Are we going to make them feel that way? If so, I am on board with Strowman. If so, I am on board with Elias. But don't string this along just to take them back double time. That's my problem with the company all the time. Up next, we have a rematch between Sheamus and Shorty G. Again, I said this earlier. I don't understand what this rematch is about. We saw it in the pre-show kickoff at Royal Rumble. It was a fair and square victory from Sheamus over Shorty G. Why do we need to see this again? At the very least, this was a physical match, though. Shorty G brought the fight to Sheamus. But in the end, it was the same result. It was a bro kick, and what I mean by same result is the G that was short ended up flat on his back with Sheamus the victor. Okay, are we going to see it a third time? I just question that for Super Smackdown. Bayley is out next talking about her big Rumble victory over Lacey and how it was even sweeter because it was right in front of her daughter, Summer. So I really like that, a little bit personal there. She then calls out Charlotte Flair because, in Bayley's words, she knows Charlotte is going to pick her anyway in her SmackDown Championship. But instead, Naomi returns to SmackDown. Naomi tells Bayley she's never beaten her and that title could use some glow. Bayley hears enough, delivers a cheap shot, but Naomi quickly capitalizes and ends up dropping Bayley. Bayley rose to the outside. If we're thrusting Naomi into the title picture, you guys know how supportive I am of that idea. They don't come bigger Naomi fan than yours truly. When I first started this channel, I literally started a little bit of an uprising for Naomi to get the championship. And we made some loud noise. And just a couple months later, Naomi was winning the championship. And that was awesome. And so you guys know how big I am, how high I am on Naomi. And if you're telling me she's getting a championship shot, I am all on board with this. I love the idea. However, my one reservation, and it's pretty big, I just hope it's not one of those situations we've seen time and time again with this company. In situations like Sasha Banks, you remember when she was getting a few weeks build for a title shot with Becky at Hell in a Cell. Then she got beat, and she was right back into obscurity. Remember, that was only a few weeks build. That was kind of rushed. It was almost like Sasha was just a bridge to get Becky to the bigger match, which was the Asuka victory. So we'll fill this time with Sasha. She gets beat. Sasha was right back into irrelevancy. We then saw the same thing, or even before that, with Ember Moon. When she got just a few weeks build, it was rushed for SummerSlam, a title shot with Bayley. She got those few weeks. She was subsequently beat, and she was put right back into irrelevancy. So that's what I mean, guys. You see these ultra-talented females, they have a few weeks of a title build, they lose at the title match, and then they're right back into irrelevancy. I don't want to see the same thing with Naomi. I don't want Naomi to just be a bridge, just be a filler, just be a placement holder. I want her to be a legit contender in the eyes of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And if this is just a placement holder to get to, I don't know if they're going to have females compete at Saudi Arabia, but Elimination Chamber, for instance. But WrestleMania is the big match for Bayley. Well, you know, I have a problem with that. Or at least, if Naomi doesn't get the championship, I ask this one thing from that company. At least have something planned for Naomi. Even if you're not going to give her a championship. I can be okay with that. Just don't put her back in irrelevancy. Because we saw that with Ember and such. After they lost their championship matches. Have something for her. She just came back. It's clear she still has the athletic ability. She's ready to rock and roll. She's looking fresh. Have something for her. You do it all the time with people like Lacey Evans. Even when they don't have championships, you have them in prominent storylines or going for titles. Alexa Bliss, I just mentioned in this one. Charlotte Flair is always in title pictures, or at least always relevant on TV. You can do that for people like Naomi. I'm asking that you just do that. The main event saw Roman Reigns and Usos. They took on Corbin, Ziggler, and Rude. The loser's going to eat some dog food. If you weren't calling everybody you know at that point, then I don't know what you were doing. That was the place to be. We needed to find out who's eating some pedigree. Not Triple H's. The pet stores. Anyway, this entire match, Michael Cole was way too excited. Way overly excited over who was going to eat the dog food. Now, I know he's supposed to really sell the stipulation. That's his job as a commentator. But nobody in real life would be that excited to see somebody eat dog food. So Michael Cole was a little over the top there. Reigns ends up rolling up Corbin for the win. That damn fruit roll-up that gets him every time. So you have this basic war between these six men for the good 15, 20 minutes, whatever it was. And in the end, it's a roll-up that they couldn't kick out of. Why not? And kick out of spears, Superman punches. But if you roll me up, there's no way I can get my shoulder up. I can't stand that. But anyway, Reigns ends up rolling up Corbin for the W. They cuff Corbin up to the post like they did to Roman over a month ago. And Roman and the Usos end up just dousing Baron Corbin with just huge bowls, almost containers of dog food, which is probably just beef stew. But they end up dousing, and then they're taking selfies in front of Corbin, who's like droggy on the post with all this dog food. Roman was wearing almost just as much dog food as Corbin. So we were waiting. I don't know if we were waiting because we knew it was going to end like that. But you're hoping like that. Can we have a little bit more of a badass minute? Does it have to be like? Man, we just saw Edge and Randy with that Monday ending, and now we're seeing selfies in front of dog food, and I'm like, guys, you did something cool Monday. Like, capitalize. But if you guys laughed at it, if it was okay, then that's fine, man. It's in the eye of the beholder. I'm not telling you how to feel about it. I was really hoping that SmackDown could back up how Raw ended. You know, I was really hoping that we kicked off the road to WrestleMania with intrigue, big cliffhangers. I was hoping that we could all be like, whoa, man, like just like Raw, I can't wait till SmackDown next week. I wanted that type of feeling. Instead, we got selfies in front of a dude doused in dog food. You know what I mean? You don't need to tune in to SmackDown next week. You may want to, right? We're going to anyway out of habit and hope, but there's no need to. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from anyway. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not going to say this was a horrible SmackDown. Absolutely not. But I'm hard-pressed to say it was good. I mean, they called it Super SmackDown. This felt like a normal SmackDown that we've been getting the past few months leading into Royal Rumble. Didn't feel super, but you advertised super. Because Braun Strowman beat Nakamura in the middle of SmackDown. That's as much respect you gave Nakamura. I don't know. If you guys are telling me the highlight of the night, let me just go over my notes once more. And I'm going to tell you why it didn't feel like super. Because I don't know the highlight. The thing that I like the most is Naomi getting something like a title opportunity. Again, I just hope there's something after the title match. But seeing my gal back in there doing her thing, that's great. We got lots of pyro. I like that. What else? I don't know. The Fatal 4-Way Tag match was okay. At times it was even good. But it's just a nonsensical schmaz match. Alexa and Nikki versus Mandy and Sonya. That was only a few minutes. Even the IC Championship match was only a couple minutes before Braun won the title. Shorty G and Sheamus was a rematch from the pre-show at Royal Rumble we didn't need to see. And then we saw the main event was a 6-man tag rematch. So I mean, anybody that's gone, BC, what are you talking about? That was an awesome SmackDown. I just went over it again real quick with you in 60 seconds. I went over the whole thing again. Twice now in this video. I'm not seeing where awesome was. I'm not even seeing great. I'm only seeing a few opportunities where you can call it good. You know? And that's the big fucking issue. Anyway, the Ant-Man. We're gonna go get out a diesel workout right now. We're gonna pump that shit up. And we're gonna do that coffee ass whooping type deal. You know how it goes. Ant-Man, the unit. Ow. 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 Yeah. Yeah. And we'll check you later.